Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Film Nerds podcast. My name is willspalding, and as always, I'm joined by my ever so knowledgeable co-host, Sam Dierberger. Sam, what's going on?
How we doing today, everyone?
I'm doing well.
Good. We're plowing through this late winter drudge.
Right.
And,
but it sounds like we're getting out of it early, maybe.
We're getting out of it early. I'll tell you, the groundhog was wrong a few weeks back.
Yeah. Right, let's fire him. That's for sure.
Phil is having an off year. I'll tell you that much. And it is unseasonably warm in both of our climates. So all the more reason to get out to the theaters if they would actually play something we like.
Right.
At the moment, we're still dependent on these, I would say, occasionally half-baked Netflix releases. But we're getting through. We're going to hit summer. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and so I have to issue another statement of apology, as we had to pull another Audible this week, since we had originally planned on doing The Father. However, it was a limited release, and don't even get me started on limited releases. I'll scream.
Oh, yeah.
But we had to pull an Audible because it was a limited release. It looks like it's getting Sam, I think you said, was it streaming March 12th?
Yes. I believe it's released it gets a wide theater release on March 12th, and then it will do also a streaming release, I believe, on the same day.
Good. So we'll get to that eventually, hopefully. But in the meantime, this week, we're going to talk, we have the movie of the week, but we're also going to be talking about the Golden Globes that happened just the other day. Kind of breaking down what this means for the Oscars and et cetera. So we'll talk about that for, I'd assume, a decent amount of time, because that's interesting. But then we'll of course get to the movie of the week, which we have now changed, Sam, to...
This week, we're talking about I Care a Lot.
Good morning, Miss Peterson. I'm sorry to disturb you so early. The court has ruled that you require assistance in taking care of yourself. I'm fine. I'm afraid it's not up to you to decide. The court has appointed me to be your legal guardian. What? You have to come with me. And remember, I'm here to help.
I care a lot. That's our review. Mine is a sarcastic I care a lot, and Sam's is a deep breath.
It's just, we'll get into it, but
we will.
But until then, we need to talk about a little something that happened this weekend.
We do. We definitely do. So, Sam, I guess I got all the nominees and winners pulled up. We're gonna kind of stay away from TV, other than maybe just kind of, TV. I'll just briefly go over maybe at the end or something. We'll see.
Sure.
Sam, should I list all the nominees, or should I just go straight for the winners?
You could talk about some of the notable nominees, I suppose.
Okay. All right. That sounds
might
good.
be important. Yeah.
I'll do all the movie ones, and maybe I'll think about doing some TV ones. So
sure.
Starting with the least cool ones of the movies. So best original score went to Soul, to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Interestingly enough, nominated twice, also for Mank. That was pretty expected. Good soul, or good soundtrack out of Soul. Actually, you know,
Definitely.
Sam, before we get into the winners, let's talk about the show for a minute. What was your experience with the show? How do you think it went? I'm curious.
Yeah,
about this.
here's the thing. Like, look, I wanted Ricky Gervais, just like anyone else. I wanted Ricky Gervais, but obviously we knew after what he did last year during his monologue at the Globes that he would not be returning.
No,
Because
he wouldn't.
he essentially gave Hollywood just like the sternest, most hilarious beating you could imagine, verbal beating. And they can handle it. You know, they're high profile celebrities. They're worth tens of millions of dollars. They can handle getting laughed at for the evening. But then we got Tina Fey and Amy Poehler this year, which is just, I mean, it's fine. You know, they did their job, but it is, I think that the jokes from them were incredibly bland. I understand that now that the previous administration is out of office, the political jokes kind of go on the down low, which as a general rule I like. But even still, I mean, I just thought their jokes were kind of a little bland this year. But that's just me. The show itself was a bit of a train wreck.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Like, I mean, we had people talking over each other. Everyone was zooming in.
Boy.
Like, it's like you couldn't have anyone show up in person besides like the presenters.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit too. But when the first award got announced and the first award had been handed out, and we could hear the winner speak, who we'll get to. We could hear the winner, or we could see the winner speaking. We could not hear the winner speaking.
Yes,
I was just like, we're in for a long night here. I heard people playing stuff on their phones. When Catherine O'Hara won her supporting actress in a comedy, I was like, is her husband playing something on his phone? Like a video?
Yes.
I was so confused. I was like, why is he doing that? Stop.
Like, what is that even?
That was bad. There was a lot of, but for what the ceremony was, I thought Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, I thought they were good. But it was safe. It was really safe. You are right, Sam.
Yeah. There was nothing. It was almost like SNL doing a parody of the Golden Globes.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was like just so sanitized. And
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And also they were on like two separate stages.
Which was also weird. I didn't know what was going on.
And there were times where there was a little bit of a lapse in their communication. So they were saying things like out of sync from each other. So some of the jokes didn't quite land, or they were talking over each other. It was just, it was a bit of a train wreck. We are very happy that the Oscars next month will be in person to a certain extent, which is hopefully they don't absolutely destroy that ceremony as well. So looking forward to the Oscars. But
anyway, continuing. So I thought the show was decent for what it could have been a lot worse. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They figured out a groove near the middle of it, but anyway, maybe we'll talk about that a little later too. So, like I said, score, Soul won. Nominated again was Mank, News of the World, Tenet, and The Midnight Sky. Best original song, song from Judas and the Black Messiah, Trial of Chicago 7, One Night in Miami, The United States versus Billie Holiday, and the winner was Yo-Si from The Life Ahead. I saw that movie. It was so boring. I would have preferred Leslie Odom Jr.'s song. Love that guy, but
nothing from Hamilton, which was kind of interesting.
I don't know.
Here's the question. Is it like, I don't know. Can you include a musical song in there?
I would have guessed you could have, just because, I mean, as long as it's original, and all those songs were original.
I suppose so.
I understand that they didn't come out in 2020. They came out however many years ago, but
Right.
so I don't know. Well, anyway, we had The Life Ahead, one original song. Screenplay, we had Promising Young Woman, Mank, The Father, Nomadland as nominations, and the winner, of course, the Globes love them some Sorkin, The Trial of Chicago 7. Pretty predictable. Any thoughts on this one, Sam?
No, I mean that was the favorite, right? Like that script manages so much because you have the typical Sorkinisms peppered throughout in the dialogue, and then you also have this ensemble cast of characters to manage and kind of a pretty dense storyline. So I mean, I think on an objective level, that was the best screenplay of the year.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So, I thought Mank might have given it a run for its money, but yeah, I think Chicago 7 is the right pick there.
It would have been interesting too, because David Fincher's father, Howard Fincher, wrote. I mean, I think David might have tweaked it a bit, but Howard Fincher was the one who wrote the Mank screenplay, so that would have been interesting to see Fincher give credit to his dad.
Yeah, yeah. I'm assuming he would have given the acceptance speech.
Yeah, right.
From here we have Best Motion Picture Foreign Language. The Two of Us, The Life Ahead. Excuse me. La Llorona. Excuse me. Another Round and Minari won. So this will be interesting at the Oscars because Minari won't qualify for this category because at the Oscars it's international feature film, and
Right.
Minari was still made in the United States, so that won't count. So, Sam, any thoughts for the Oscars? What do you think will?
Yeah, I mean that was I think the change in that category at the Oscars was kind of an attempt to make it more inclusive, because there's lots of that you can see a lot of films that are produced in the United States, but for example have Spanish in them, so bit of a backfire on the Oscars part because they wanted to add more diversity to their nominations, and then they ended up screwing Minari out of possibly winning something, because they changed it. When did they change that, Will?
It was only a few years ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a very recent. So I think Minari should be able to be nominated, but that's fine. I mean, it'll most likely get a Best Picture nom to begin with.
It should. It really should.
Bigger fish to fry. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think probably at the Oscars we'll see Another Round by Thomas Vinterberg. Probably take that award, but I guess we could be proven wrong. We'll see. We have Best Motion Picture Animated, Wolfwalkers, Over the Moon, Onward, The Croods: A New Age, and the winner being Soul. Anyone could have predicted that. That was probably, if I were to bet my life savings on any award, it probably would have been that one.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I've seen all those, by the way. So
are you serious?
Yeah, I have seen
Wow.
all. So, and I can tell you, Soul is the best. So there you go.
Huh? How about that?
So obviously, Soul is going to run away with the Oscar as well. So, and here we go. We come to the award I was hinting at earlier. So, best performance by an actor in a supporting role. We had Sacha Baron Cohen in The Trial of Chicago 7, Leslie Odom Jr., One Eye Miami, Bill Murray on The Rocks, Jared Leto, The Little Things, and then Daniel Kaluuya won for Judas and the Black Messiah. I think we both predicted this when we had our Judas episode, or at least we mentioned that he likely will win. Yeah, what do you think, Sam? And then give us a rundown on what you were thinking immediately when he tried to start his acceptance speech.
Well, well, here's the thing. Immediately I thought, like, how much of, you know, how accurate is the Golden Globes as it translates to the Oscars? Like, what is the percentage rate for the acting categories, right? Like, how accurate is it? How accurate of a predictor is it? I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I was immediately like,
I don't know for sure how accurate it is. I know the Globes obviously they do a little bit different thing. They have drama and then comedy, musical.
Right.
But if I were to guess, it's pretty accurate. And supporting is just supporting for both. It's not drama or comedy musical, but I would guess it's probably about 75% of the time it correlates.
Sure.
So
yeah, but I mean that was my first thought, is like, is Daniel Kaluuya going to snag his Oscar for this role? And quite frankly, he completely deserves it.
yeah.
If I was going to pick
Absolutely.
anyone who I want to win and also who I think will win at the big ceremony next month, I'd give it to Kaluuya for best supporting actor.
Yeah.
But what's your take on that?
I would say Kaluuya for sure. Yeah, I see no reason why it wouldn't be him. I'm looking at other names on the list. I thought Bill Murray was really great in On the Rocks, but is Kaluuya better? Absolutely. Leslie Odom Jr. in One Night in Miami, it's the same story as Bill Murray. Sacha Baron Cohen in The Trial of Chicago 7. Well, Trial of Chicago 7 is such an ensemble cast that other people take away from Baron Cohen as well. And I know that's kind of the point of a supporting actor, is you're not the main focus, and other people do take away from you because you're the supporting and there is a lead person in front of you. But Kaluuya is just doing so much in his role as Fred Hampton that there's no reason for him to not win. And Jared Leto, although he might be great, The Little Things is such a bad movie that he just won't win. So
yes.
So
yeah. I feel like we're gonna keep seeing like these just strange method acting roles from Jared Leto, and he's always gonna get this buzz right around this time, like every year. And he's gonna, by the end of his career, he's gonna have like 40 noms or something.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he would honestly probably get the award for like most pretentious actor. Like, dude, it's just for his role in Blade Runner 2049, he plays a blind character, so I'm pretty sure he like went around blind for like 3 months before his role.
Yes.
It's so like so over the top and so unnecessary, really.
Yes. And the thing is, he like intentionally makes people know that he's doing these things.
Yeah.
Like with Heath Ledger, you didn't know that he was locked up in a motel room for like 2 months. Like that's just something people found out. But like there's stories of Jared Leto just like sending people dead rats in the mail. Like he's very obviously like trying to get people to know, hey, I'm a method actor. Like,
Yeah.
So.
Well, anyway, so Kaluuya, I don't know if his mic was muted or if the Globes just didn't have his voice on, but like we couldn't hear him. Essentially what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah, it was not a good early indicator.
They pulled it off. They brought it around. Anyway, continuing on. We have Best Supporting Actress in any motion picture. Nominated Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, Amanda Seyfried, Helena Zengel, and the winner, Jodie Foster.
Ooh.
So this is the point where I was like, oh no, what are they doing? Because Close and Seyfried are, I thought, had great performances. And I haven't seen The Mauritanian, but I just felt like there's been no buzz around it. And I know a lot of people are like, what? How could I have won? Like my other The other
Yes.
nominees were so great. Like I shouldn't have, but I think Jodie Foster was legitimately
Shocked.
like, how did I win?
Yes. Like she was sitting back on her couch, like bad posture, the whole thing, just like
In her PJs.
not like with her dog on her lap,
Yeah.
and then she like, what? Like I think she was legitimately shocked. And then the other funny part was that she had like all her friends over and they were downstairs in the basement.
There's a little delay.
And there was like a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
So in the middle of her speech, we heard like all the people in her basement like cheering and screaming. that was really funny. So you could tell that like she was not expecting that.
No, absolutely not. And look, I love Jodie Foster. I think she's amazing. But I would have given this one to Seyfried, but that's just me. I was surprised by this one.
I would agree. I would give it to Amanda Seyfried. Maybe solely because Mank kind of had a rough night.
It did.
Not that it was nominated for much, but I was a little surprised. Pretty much because the Hollywood foreign press should be obsessed with Hollywood.
You would
logically,
think so.
They should be obsessed with Hollywood. So you feel like Mank is a lock for at least a couple of these awards, but no, it was not to be. And then Glenn Close, I mean, gave a heck of a performance in Hillbilly Elegy, that I don't think was properly recognized. But
So that
it is what it is.
The thing I'll say about it though is that was not my biggest surprise of the night. So it gets worse.
No, not even close.
So we continue on, and it's funny, I'm gonna save this one for the absolute end, and because it's relevant to our show. But
yeah,
I think you know which one I'm talking about. So
yes,
we go on. We have best performance by an actor in a musical comedy. We have Sandberg for Palm Springs, Dev Patel for The Personal History of David Copperfield, Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, James Corden for The Prom, and our winner, Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat. This was deserved. No one else should have won this but him, and I'm excited for Baron Cohen because this award is made for him. This best performance by an actor, musical or a comedy.
Right.
I'm happy. I was saying this off the air, and what Sacha Baron Cohen, and I'll get to this in a little bit as well later, does in Borat is the definition of acting, making someone believe you are someone else. And he does that to a T. Everyone thinks he's Borat. That's the point of the movie, is he's another person.
Yes.
And there's no one else should have won this except him. So I'm glad. And I know the Oscars won't recognize that because it's a comedy and whatnot, but he needed it here. And I'm glad he got it.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue amongst people our age, Borat is much more of a recognizable name than Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like last week, my friend was actually watching the trial of the Chicago 7, and he said, like, was that Borat in that movie? Borat was in that movie? I'm like, the guy's name is Sacha Baron Cohen, but yeah, that's Borat. He goes, no way, I knew it, So, like, that's just a testament to how
funny.
Cohen has been able to make a character more famous than himself.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
you're right. That's a good point. If you ask someone, do you know who Borat is? They'd probably be like, yeah, it's a funny movie. Who plays him? I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. It's a good point.
Exactly. And that's very rare. That's very rare.
Oh, absolutely. The only other characters, I don't know. But yeah, point being, very rare. So move on to actor drama this time. We had Tahar Rahim in the Mauritanian, Gary Oldman in Mank, Anthony Hopkins in The Father, Riz Ahmed in Sound of Metal, and Chadwick Boseman, our winner in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Deservingly, everyone knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And cool moment, and then obviously his wife accepting the award. It was a good moment. Got a little choked up too. So
Yeah, I mean, I think we all did, because the Globes are kind of a poor man's Oscars, so it's taken with a certain amount of lightness. Like, even the celebrities there,
yeah, for sure,
don't take it as seriously, and then we just have this moment of just like just dark reflection,
and you knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming, but I'm like, oh my god, it was just it's such a tragedy that we're really, the movie industry is going to take years to process it, but that was the lock. I would bet my life savings on the best actor category there.
Yeah, you might be right.
Which is, a testament to Boseman's abilities, because you have, he's up against Hopkins and Oldman, who are legitimately two of the greatest actors to ever live. And he was still a lock to win Best Actor. So,
yeah. I would say it's not because he died either. I think he had the best performance of the year. I mean, does it help his case for winning since he died? Sure, but that's not. I wouldn't say that's why he won.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I suppose so. I think it would have been a lot more close if he hadn't died. Okay. I do think that. I think there's a good shot he still would have won. But yeah, if he didn't die, we wouldn't be having this conversation like it was a lock. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. That's fair. So moving on to actress in a drama. This is the biggest surprise of the night for me. My jaw dropped when it was announced. So our nominees were Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And so and Andra Day was our winner for The United States versus Billie Holiday. And
who?
Sitting on my couch right before this, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, either Viola Davis, Frances McDormand, or Carey Mulligan, are like almost a 1/3 chance each for me, or like 30% each. And then I was like, Vanessa Kirby is like a 10%. And Andra Day did not even cross my mind, like not even for a single second.
Yeah.
And then she won. And I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen the movie. I'm sure she's great. The movie looks terrible. And I think I believe it's getting panned.
Right.
Sam, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't have any thoughts that are any more, enlightening than the average person's, because it's like, who is this person? What is this movie? Like, and she strikes me, she's pretty young, right? Like,
she's very young. I'll look it up real quick.
She's, she can't be. Oh, she's 36. Okay.
It's older.
Well, okay. Well, good for her. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that it was really, really out of left field. I was like half paying attention when this came on, and I was like, wait, is this another category? I thought they were doing Best Actress. And then I looked down at like the lower third on the bottom, and it says no, Best Actress in a drama, Best Leading Actress in a Drama. I'm like, what? Who? So yeah, that was definitely the shock of the night.
I thought McDormand or Mulligan had it wrapped up, and I would have been wrong. So
yes, I would also like to comment on how Marcus Mumford and Carey Mulligan are like a perfect couple.
Oh,
I mean, them just sitting there together melted my heart.
yeah.
They're just they're just beautiful people.
Absolutely. So moving on, we have Best Director. We had Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher, Mank, Regina King, One Night in Miami, Aaron Sorkin, Trial of Chicago 7. Then our winner, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. This one was, I mean, I said this off the air too, Sam, but for the most part, other than the exception of like 3 awards, these were Globes played it safe. These were all pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Aside from the few we mentioned. And I'd just like to say, great for Chloe Zhao, but I love David Fincher, man.
I do too.
When he was putting those shots away after he lost, like he was like, "Cheers, good job," and then he just downs the shot. I was like, "Oh, I love that guy."
I mean, he was. At first, it struck me as like, oh yeah, he's celebrating her success. He's a very classy thing to do, and then I'm thinking like, is he doing that like I need to drown away my sorrows because I didn't win Best Director at the Globes? And I think, no, that's stupid. Like he's way above that,
Yeah.
But he just holds up a little shot, puts it back, and just like, okay, well, all right.
It's mind blowing that David Fincher does not have more accolades too. I mean, he's one of the greatest directors of all time, and it's unfortunate. It always seems like just like he always has the second best movie.
Yes,
there's always one that's above him. So,
and he's trying to say, he's like, it's almost like he's screaming out loud, like, I made something palatable for the Academy, for the Hollywood Foreign Press. Like, it's not like I'm making a movie about a sadistic serial killer. I made a movie about Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying, and they just refuse.
They just don't care. Yeah.
They're just like, well, no, not good enough. We're going with the McDormand movie with a budget of like $2, and
so anyway, Chloe Zhao deserved. I mean, from that moment on, it was pretty obvious what was going to win Best Picture. I'll just go to that one now. Best Picture Drama. Nomadland won over The Father, Mank, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of Chicago 7. It's pretty obvious that one was coming. Yeah, they didn't even need to announce it.
Right.
So good for that. Good for Nomadland, but I don't know. I thought the Globes. I mean, this tells me the Oscars going to Nomadland as well. I thought the Globes might give it to Trial of Chicago 7 just because they love Sorkin so much, but I was wrong. So it's going to be one of those boring Oscar years, Sam.
Well, it could be an indicator. I said this on the show a few weeks ago. Jude, friend of the show, pointed out that if the Academy wants to go for the safe pick, they'll choose Trial of the Chicago 7. If the Academy wants to go for the Parasite-esque pick, the dark horse, then they're going to go for Nomadland. But
I think that's
it won't be anything else. It'll be one of those two,
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe this is an indicator that they're leaning towards Nomadland.
I think it would be. That'd be my guess.
I mean, it's just so boring.
I know. I know. I agree.
I want to like it a lot more.
I agree with you. So,
but yeah, that was the Globes. That was the Globes.
Real quick, 2 more, Sam. Actually, I skipped a couple.
Oh yeah, that's right. We gotta talk.
Best Picture for Musical or Comedy: Hamilton, Music, Palm Springs, The Prom, and the winner was Borat. Subsequent movie film, hilarious title, hilarious movie, and well deserved. No other
absolutely
movie. So I'm happy for Baron Cohen. Real quick, I'll just say, I've never seen The Crown, but maybe I should start watching it because holy crap, that sweeped everything.
Yep.
And that's all I'm going to say about TV. So now the final award that I skipped, Sam, and I think which one it is.
Yes, unfortunately, I do.
So it's the best actress in a musical or comedy. Nominated for it was Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma, Michelle Pfeiffer for French Exit, Kate Hudson music, Maria Bakalova for Borat's subsequent movie film, and the winner, Rosamund Pike, I Care a Lot, which we'll be talking about later this episode. And Sam, this was the wrong pick. This was the wrong pick. Maria Bakalova should have won this, hands down. I could not believe it when she did not.
To call I Care a Lot a comedy is like calling.
Okay, we're getting into the review a little bit here, but did you laugh once?
No. It's not. It's not a comedy. Like, what? Like, I would have been like, okay, I understand you want to give it to like kind of a dark comedy. Okay, fine. Yeah, move my girl Carrie Mulligan over from drama and just give it to her, because I could make a better argument The Promising Young Woman is a comedy than I Care a Lot is a comedy.
This was like, I like that the Globes separate musical comedy versus drama. I think it's a fun thing that they can differentiate themselves from the Oscars, and they can recognize more movies, more actors.
Yeah.
But to say comedy and then just say I Care a Lot, that's a comedy, right? Well, no, it's not. That's not a comedy.
Yes.
And
there's no comedic ability in Rosamund Pike's performance anyway.
I was upset by this. I really was. And not just because like the person who I wanted to win didn't win, but just like that's just misinterpreting what that category is. Yes. And like in her acceptance speech, Rosamund Pike was like, to the dark side of comedy. I'm like, I guess like dark comedy would be like the fourth genre of this movie. Yeah. So that one was bad. But Sam, we did the Golden Globes, and we're on to the Oscars. And any Oscar thoughts? Like, what are you thinking heading in? We're just over a month away.
Well, how close are we to the noms? Because
nominations come out in 13 days on the 15th.
13 days, T minus. This is exciting. You know, I think Sorkin kind of has a lock on screenplay. I think Kaluuya has a very good shot at supporting. Chadwick is a lock for actor, and best animated motion picture, obviously Soul is the other lock.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would say things are pretty much up in the air.
You know what I could see?
What could you see?
So I could see Sorkin getting screenplay. I could see Chloe Zhao getting director, and I could see Chicago 7 winning. I still think Nomadland will win, but I could see where they split director picture up.
Yeah, definitely. I think and they could even split up. Well, okay, I don't know if Nomadland is an original screenplay. It might have been based off a book. I'm not sure. I
think it's adapted. I think we determined it was a book, and then we were complaining, like, how could this be adapted? Because these are just random characters.
That's right. Well, people are playing themselves, which is.
So how could that be adapted unless the book was about those people too?
I don't know. It's Chloe Zhao's world, and we're just living in it. Right. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. There's a strong argument for Zhao as best director, because again, that movie is technically beautiful, like very well shot, beautiful shots from all over the continental United States. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that. And Sorkin is obviously not a director first and foremost. He's a screenwriter first. So I don't think he would even be upset if he got screwed out of a best director accolade. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think I could see that happening. I think that's a strong possibility.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to see when the nominations come out in a few days or a couple weeks, and then when we finally get to the award ceremony here in about a month and a half. So,
right.
But until then, Sam, should we get into the review portion of the episode?
Do we have to?
Here we go.
My name is Marla Grayson. I'm just someone who cares.
Marla Grayson, you've had amazing success. What's your secret?
There is no secret, Peter.
She forces them into the home, auctions off their house, and uses the proceeds to pay herself.
Because caring is my job.
Sam, so we had to pull the audible from the father to I Care a Lot. And I was going to watch this movie. And going into this, I thought, this just seems like such a 3-star movie to me. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be good. I'm gonna think it's pretty decent. I'm gonna have a decent time watching it.
Yeah.
And I got about 10 minutes in, and I was checked out. Oh no, 20. I'll say 20.
I wasn't checked out. It's not that simple. It's because there's some sequences in this film that are unlike anything I've ever seen, in the same way you're kind of like, I don't know what they're going for here. Like, what is this, for example, what is this soundtrack choice? Like, what is this music?
The music.
Why does this not the music? I'm like,
why are we listening to techno right now?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like, there's so many, it's such a, on a like a purely aesthetic level, this movie is a mess.
Oh my god. It is a disaster.
It has like 13 different feelings trying to be communicated at once. Like, I'm like, am I supposed to be happy about this? Am I supposed to be sad? Am I supposed to be cheering for any of these characters?
I think that
am I supposed to care?
What you said right there.
Yes. Yes.
The fundamental problem with I Care a Lot is that I don't care at all. What it comes down to is A, not a single character was likable. B, none of the characters were interesting.
Right.
C, I didn't care about anything they were doing.
Yep.
So, and D, it's just simply a mess.
Yes.
There are strong moments in this movie. They are few and far between, but there are some strong points.
Yeah.
But my goodness, this one was rough. And I immediately hadn't seen like a Rotten Tomato score. I hadn't really looked at reviews or anything. I just went into it. Turn the movie off because it's just on Netflix. Turn the movie off, and I was like, what is this getting on Rotten Tomatoes? And I looked it up, and it was 80%. I could not believe that.
That is staggering. That is insane to me.
That 80% of critics, Sam, said, yeah, I dug with
okay.
it. I just, it blows my mind.
It's not even like preachy. It's not even like Oscar baity, because there's nothing that stands out as like, oh yeah, definitely Rosamund Pike is really just focusing in right now. She's just laser focused.
I thought she was good, but like there wasn't anything. I didn't think there was anything special.
I thought she was just competent.
Yeah.
There's nothing, astonishing about it.
Sure.
But the other thing too is like, when I was watching it, I was like, do any of these, like, how are these characters written? You know, you got to think first of all, okay, we have this very interesting concept to begin with, right?
I agree with you there.
It's a fascinating concept. You could take this a lot of different directions. And they're like, okay, so our main character is going to be pure evil, like just scum of the earth, worst person ever. And then we're going to have another character who, for unexplained reasons, pretty much unexplained, just happens to, at the exact same time, have the same interests as this character. But here's the thing. They're both equally very evil, and they hate each other. And that's that. It's like, we just have horrible people against horrible people.
Yeah.
And I can't find a shred of reason to like any of them.
So,
you know,
I'm gonna say all the things that I liked about this movie. Here we go. I thought that the first maybe 7 minutes was really pretty good. Actually, I think it developed Rosamund Pike's character, who I can't even remember her character's name. Doesn't matter. I thought it developed her character really well in the first 7 minutes, where we're at this court scene, and this guy is debating that, or is trying to say that his mom shouldn't be in a long-term care facility or under Rosamund Pike's guardianship. And essentially she argues it down to, no, because of this, this, and this, she needs to be under my care. And essentially wins it, and then stands up for herself outside in the parking lot. I thought that developed her character quite well. We kind of got a baseline, like, oh, here we are. Here's who she is. Great. All right. She's a terrible person. Okay. We go further, and we see she takes another person. We assume she's doing the same thing to another person, where she goes to Jennifer Peterson. Do I have that right? Yeah, Jennifer Peterson.
Like, literally just type in, old lady name generator.
I'll get to this later, but there is a part where they talk about her name, Jennifer Peterson, and I was like, that is so stupid. We'll get to that later, but
it's just a dumb name. Like, it's just, no offense to all the Jennifer Petersons listening, but
there's thousands.
So generic.
So we go to Jennifer Peterson's house, and essentially Rosamund Pike takes her away from her house, and that 15-minute sequence of her going to court again as an emergency, whatever, to get her to be her guardian, talking with the doctor, and then going to get her and bringing her to that facility, long-term care facility, was honestly terrifying. Like, the fact that,
yes,
and really well done, to be completely honest with you, that this could happen in real life was horrifying to me. And I was like,
yes, that
was very good. And I thought this movie was going in an awesome direction. And that's all I have to say good about this movie. All right, I'm done.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a worthwhile social critique underneath the plot here, which is exposing these people who profit off of elders like this. I guess it's saying this is a problem we should actually pay attention to, and I would agree. But also, as a pre-law student, there's a lot of things here that is legally that's not real.
Okay. Wow.
First of all, the argument at the beginning would not have happened unless there's some sort of restraining order. A biological son has the right to visit his mother. That is a thing. Legal guardian. There's so many problems. I think it was ill-researched to begin with. But yeah, so there's that.
Well,
also, I should mention that I just don't like this movie flat out. And it's not that I think it's a bad movie, because I do think it's a bad movie, but also I did not like it. I felt disgusting when I watched this.
That's what I mean by when I say that first 25 minutes were horrifying, is because maybe like logistically and by the law, it doesn't make any sense. But to me, who doesn't know the law that well, or like really technical things like this, I thought it was fine. And was scary. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really like it either because like that terrified me. I was like, oh my gosh, like that probably happens, and that would be awful if I were this Jennifer Peterson. Like, you just get removed from your home, and who knows if that's actually how it would go down in reality. But you know, I thought it was executed well. Doesn't mean I liked it, but I thought it was executed well.
Right. No, and I agree with that. I do. It does a nice job in that sequence when she's getting moved to the care facility, like just like, okay, this is your home now. All of a sudden you're just booted out of your home, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I want to ask you, Sam, I have nothing else left to say good about this movie. So what are your other pros to this movie?
Oh God. Well, for that, we would have to go to the ending.
Okay, then let's just
not because I like how the ending was done, mind you, because the ending was done horribly. It was like the definition of a Deus Ex Machina, but like literally the textbook definition.
Oh gosh. All right, let's go to spoilers. Spoilers for I Care a Lot. Don't see this movie, really, please. We'll spoil it for you so you don't have to watch it. But Sam, talk about. Actually, again, let's still save it, but let's get into some more specifics as we go along into the movie and just rant for a little while. Sure. And then we'll get to the ending eventually. What I wanted to say earlier, this movie just, like you said, it doesn't make sense in a lot of parts. It continues to not make sense. Like, we keep going and like more things just don't make sense. So we learned that this Jennifer Peterson, and what I was originally going to say was, when they figure out that Jennifer Peterson that's not actually her name, and that she stole the identity of some dead baby, I was like, that is so stupid. Jennifer Peterson is just a really common name. How do you know she stole that baby's identity? Like, what is?
No one steals a baby's identity.
That was so dumb. I could not believe it.
Also, and in the same scene, we learn basically that she is like a prominent member of the Russian mob, the Russian mafia. Does she have a Russian accent? Nope.
No.
Does Peter Dinklage have a Russian accent? Nope. Couldn't pull it off, I guess. Okay, fine. Like, like,
oh boy.
It just made no sense.
So
there's so many problems.
Yeah. So, you know, I said like the first 25 minutes I liked, or I should say it was good, I thought. And that's because the story, a decent premise. But, and then as like, I fundamentally just did not like where the movie went, or how it, not even how it went, but just where it went.
Yeah.
This woman being connected to the Russian mob, I was just like, that just seems, I was just so dumb. Like, why even have that? And like Rosamund Pike's character, we get it. Like, she's supposed to be this like really like evil person, and like she'll do anything for money, and like look at how bad she is. But come on, when the Russian Sam, if the Russian mob was like after you, what would you do to get away from that? Because I would do pretty much anything.
I would. They were offering her $100,000. That was the original offer. Yeah, I'll just give you $100,000 and you just release her. And yeah, that's that. Okay. Like, I will take $100,000 from the Russian mob, no strings attached. Okay. Like, oh yeah, actually that lawyer scene actually did work very well for me. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, you know that you say that. Yeah, I agree. But
when she's meeting with the lawyer, Dean, but also
again, it just didn't make sense though. You know, it might have been well executed, but there is no reason for me to believe that this woman would not just take $100,000 and pocket it.
Yes. Like, she doesn't even know how much those jewels are worth.
And
right? She
She's
finds the
gonna look him up
jewels.
for 300,000. Like now you should certainly be taking it.
Like it's the mob. And again, it's like vague threat, because he goes, the dialogue is so amateurishly written. It's so amateurish. It's like he goes, well, my associates could make life very uncomfortable for you. And then she goes, is that a threat? And then he goes, no, I'm just saying that everybody dies. And some die sooner rather than later.
When he said, and eventually you'll no longer be able to feel comfortable or uncomfortable. I was like, what?
What's the best part?
What was that? Oh gosh.
I'm like, what?
This movie, man. Where do we even go from here? So she continues to be in the care of Jennifer Peterson. Such a dumb name.
Yeah.
They try to break her out. That was a dumb scene. Like it was just
Like,
it was bad scene after bad scene, and I could not believe it.
that was an awful scene. It made
Why was the security guard at a long-term care facility? Why did he have a gun?
like, how often does someone come in and try to kidnap?
He had a gun and he was ready to die.
Like, I understand mass shootings are on the rise or whatever, but there has never been a mass shooting at a long-term care facility ever. Why? Because those people are going to die soon. That's the point. Why would you carry a gun around? It makes no sense.
And the even worse part, so he has a gun, whatever, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you be trying to fight people who also have guns who are shooting at you? That was so, like, you were like, if you were in a prison, I guess you might be willing to die for breaking someone out, but like,
Yeah.
Someone's breaking out, for all you know, it's just someone breaking out their grandma.
Yeah.
Why are you shooting at them? It was so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, it's not eminently clear why we never find out why Peter Dinklage needs to have his mom back so desperately.
I guess he just
Is it just because it's his mom? Is that it?
That's another part of this movie that's terrible, is the underdevelopment of that entire storyline. I don't know who Peter Dinklage was in this movie. I guess he's a the mob boss, Russian mob boss. That's all we know about him. And he lives in the same town as his mother, but he sends one of his cronies to go pick him up, remember? Pick her up, right? Exactly. So that's when we first get introduced to the mob, right? Is the dude with the weird voice, the weird like smoker's voice, gets out of the taxi, comes up and says, "Taxi for Mrs. Peterson," right? And then we're like, wait, so is he trying to kidnap Peter Dinklage's mom and bring him back to Peter Dinklage? Or is Peter Dinklage just sending a taxi to pick up his mom? Why doesn't he do it himself? They live in the same town. Apparently they just live a few minutes away. Why not just go visit her in her house?
Why not visit her at the care facility? Because Rosamund Pike won't allow that. Like, why does he need her mom back? Why does he need his mom back so desperately?
Yeah, we continue. You know, Rosamund Pike puts a stop to the breakout. She's then wondering, what the heck are these people trying to do? She then makes Jennifer Peterson's life terrible because she's just that evil. And that was like, gosh, I keep saying that was another bad aspect of this movie, but it's just bad aspect after bad aspect. She was such a board of a character.
Yeah.
Like, there was no development, like nothing changed within her. She was money crazed and evil from the beginning and was money crazed and evil at the end. Like, there was nothing. It was boring to watch her move through the storyline.
Yeah.
In fact, no, the storyline moved through her. Like, she did not move with it.
No.
She stayed
She
right
was just a bouncy ball back and forth off the walls, you know. She's like, oh, I see. The mob is going to make my life a living hell, so I'm going to make a living hell for Jennifer Peterson. Goes to Sam, the nursing home director, and says, I want you to basically treat her like a prisoner. Like, more so than before. Like, not let her leave her room. Like, what? Like, minimize all of her prescriptions, like all this stuff. I'm like, Jesus, what is this? What is this place?
Yeah, so we keep going. Eventually, Peter Dinklage's character wants to kidnap and kill Rosamund Pike's character. He kidnaps her. Apparently, the Russian mob is horrible at assassinating people, like awful. I don't know if they obviously didn't kill Rosamund Pike's character. I don't know if they were trying to kill her girlfriend, but they failed at that too. Oh gosh, that was so stupid. Like, that was so dumb.
They hit her on the head and they were just like, okay, guess she's dead. All right, moving on.
From there, like, I don't even know where to go from here. It's just,
well, can we talk about what the hell? Okay, sorry, excuse the language, but the when Rosamund Pike is in the car and they like plant like the vodka bottle on her lap, and they had her drugged up, and then they make her, like, they force her foot onto the accelerator, right? And she slams through the woods and then just wakes up at the exact right moment, is not groggy whatsoever from the drugs, because she's able to get out of the car just fine as it sinks into the lake, and swim to the surface, walk to a gas station, no problem. It's like she was never drugged up. She wakes up at the exact right moment, and then boom. I was hoping the movie would end with her dying in the lake. I thought that would be immensely more satisfying.
I was too. Yeah, so now this is, of everything we've said, this is the dumbest part of the movie coming up right now.
Yeah.
Instead of, fleeing after narrowly escaping an assassination attempt, Rosamund Pike decides, you know what? I'm going to go try and kill them. And that was so stupid. I could not believe it. It's like,
yes,
no one would do this. Like, oh my gosh. It was.
And she says to her girlfriend, she's like, if we run now, we're going to be looking over our shoulders the rest of our lives. Like, they're going to find us. It's like, they think you're dead. That was the point. You guys are now dead people. You can do whatever you want. You're given a second life.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, but
why would you be looking over your shoulders? They think you're dead. They killed you. I'm like, what? In every other movie where it's assumed that a character dies, it's always a great thing for them. Like, when a character fakes their death, why do they fake their death? Because it gives them a second life. Because they don't have to look over their shoulder anymore because everyone thinks they're dead. That's the point.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it was so bad. So she goes to kidnap Peter Dinklage's character. And apparently, he only has 2 bodyguards, Sam. He only has 2. And she takes them both.
But they're so loyal to him. They are just, sir.
He takes them both out. And she kidnaps him, and we're getting to the end here now. He wakes up in a hospital bed because she put him there somehow. And as soon as
wait, we have to talk about, they strip him naked.
Pump
him full of drugs.
Yeah.
Leave him.
I forgot
in the
about
middle.
that.
How much do they pay Peter Dinklage to lay naked in the middle of a road?
I forgot about that. So dumb, so bad. Oh, no.
And then they burned his car for no reason.
Yep, they did do that. I forgot about that. So After that, he wakes up in the hospital bed, and and I'm like, oh, she's going to be right there, and she's going to say, I'm your legal guardian. And that's exactly what happened. The movie could have been more predictable.
With extra steps, though, because there's like a 5-minute, they have to take like 5 minutes to flesh that out. And then her big reveal, I am now your legal guardian. I can do whatever I want to you.
As soon as he was in the hospital bed, I knew that was coming, though. Like,
yes.
It's so bad. So she says you're going to pay, or she says, I'm going to do whatever you want to you. Then we kind of cut to a new scene, and Peter Dinklage is kind of looking out. She sits down next to him. And all I'm thinking right now is, oh my gosh, they're going to team up.
Yep.
And then they did. I was like, oh no, stop it.
They're going to team up. Why not?
It was so predictable.
Why?
So they're going to team up and start this billion-dollar corporation, because you just do that, Sam. You just start billion-dollar corporations. It's not that hard, really.
Well, and I should also mention that when she says to him in the hospital bed, when he's in the hospital bed, she goes, you're just a drug addict who happened to be found on the road. You're a nobody. Like, you have no assets. And then also pay me $10 million. So like, does he have the bank account still, or does he not? So he has the capital and she has the brains, the smarts. So, they just on like a 2-minute conversation, they're like, yeah, let's start a business. Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, that was so stupid. We cut then to this interview scene, which was so awful. I couldn't believe it. And how many years was this supposed to be? Because it seemed like it was immediately after, like 6 months.
It felt like that.
Goodness.
They do some serious business in 6 months to a year, and boom, she's on like CNBC Power Lunch getting interviewed.
So, Sam, what is the thing you enjoyed? The ending. What?
Well, I loved that she ended up getting shot, because I was like, we can't let this character. I'm like, please, movie, just make her suffer a little bit.
Make her go
please.
Away. Yeah.
Like she deserves something, right? And then the movie delivered justice, but delivered justice in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Like, just the worst way to end a movie, because it's like, oh, full circle. You see what we're doing here? Okay, full circle. Character from the beginning ends up shooting her.
And that's
karma.
That's what I mean. Like, this is probably like 6 months, right? I mean, it's the same dude.
Yeah, the dude is wearing the exact same costume. That's the other part. He's wearing the same hat.
Oh, oh gosh.
Like, they're like, it's like they had the actor film all of his scenes in one day, and he's like, wait, doesn't this happen like years later? Shouldn't I be wearing a different outfit? And they were just like, no, you're good. Just go ahead, shoot her, and then you're done. Like,
the last thing I want to say before I've exhausted myself on this movie is when she's kind of doing that like narrating thing, when she's kind of like about to die after she got shot. The whole time I could just sense it coming. I'm like, I know she's gonna say I care a lot. I know it. She's gonna say it.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, if you say this is an instant half star. I will not budge on that.
Yes.
I was a little upset when they didn't say it, because it just seemed so predictable, and so they just fall into that cliche and say it. So I guess good on them for not saying it, but you should have just said it and just gone.
Just commit.
Yeah, right.
I didn't understand her monologues either, because they had this. There's also this like subtle criticism. Well, not very subtle, but about like, it's the typical like, capitalism is a rigged game, and you have to rig the game to get ahead, and like,
well, she's a lioness.
Nice guys finish last, and that whole thing.
Well, she's a lioness.
She's a lioness. It's like,
the narration, or the monologue narrations, were awful too.
It's not clear when she's narrating this because she dies. Is she narrating these post mortem after death? I don't know. We also have like 13 different scenes of Rosamund Pike like working out for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Like she's up on the rowing machine. She's in cycle class, and she finds out like major plot points while watching the television at the gym, which is also quite funny.
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
I don't have anything left, Sam. What else do you have?
well, I mean, this is a testament to how much we both like just despise this movie. Like, okay, so Hubie Halloween, for example. Hubie Halloween is a terrible, awful, horrible movie. But also, we both liked it. Like, I liked it. I had a good time with it. This movie is both bad and unlikable in the worst way.
I was trying to think. I was like, the only way I would want to watch this movie, like, I didn't think of this, but like, I'd rather watch Hubie Halloween 20 times than this movie.
Yeah.
The only way I would ever want to watch this movie is if, like, just like three, four people who all think the movie is terrible and then just rip on it the whole time.
Pretty much. But I wouldn't even want to show this to someone who hasn't seen it before.
No, nope,
You know?
absolutely not. Yeah, this
It's
movie.
like,
This movie is very bad. I just don't. I really don't understand the generally like positive outpour. 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 66 on Metacritic, which is 66 is okay. Like that's not
bad for Metacritic. No.
Yeah. Gosh, Yeah, I'm done talking about this, Sam. I don't know if do you have anything else?
I don't want to talk about this for a second more. I'm gonna go right to the star rating because
go for it.
I don't have wrap up thoughts because this movie doesn't wrap up. So I'm gonna give this a 1.5 out of 5. Although after this discussion, I might be moving that down more because I'm thinking about it more. But we'll go with a 1.5. How about you, Will?
So I've also become angrier over this last 30 minutes we've been talking about it, and I'm going a 1.5 as well. I think I originally gave it a 2. It's going down 1.5.
Yeah.
This is really bad. I don't even know what this movie was going for. I guess Rosamund Pike is like, this is the closest thing I've done to Gone Girl. I'm like, okay, oh gosh.
Yeah, well, it's also side-splitting comedy. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, the entire thing is just like I hurt my abdomen hurts from laughing after I finished this movie.
That was just... like I didn't even know Rosamund Pike was nominated for a Globe for musical comedy, but nothing was funny about this movie. Like even if I liked this movie, like I was like, man, really, really good movie. Really liked it. I still would not say this is a comedy. Like that was not me just saying, like earlier in our Globes talk, that was Rosamund Pike winning was not me saying I hate this movie. She shouldn't have been nominated because I hate it. She shouldn't have been nominated because it didn't make sense.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, 1.5 apiece. My wrap-up thoughts is I really loved it. I thought it was awesome. So.
Me too.
Oh. All right.
So
Sam,
ridiculous.
should we get into some recommendations?
Yeah, let's get into some recommends. I actually have one prepared, which is rare.
Let's hear it. You're recommending I Care a Lot. You think everyone should watch it twice. All right.
Yeah, double recommend. Also, I watched an actual comedy movie over the weekend. You know, one that like is kind of funny sometimes. It's called The Nice Guys, with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. and it's kind of this like 70s buddy detective comedy action dramedy type thing. It actually does a nice job of balancing like action comedy and some drama. Like the plot is actually decently convoluted for something that's pretty funny. So I'm going to recommend The Nice Guys. It's a really fun time. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get around to seeing that for a while, so I'm excited to get your endorsement, and I will check that out soon. My recommendation, I'm gonna give a little backstory on this one. So, friend of the show, Jude, recently watched a movie called Stalker, and I said, it's been on my watch list for such a long time, I need to get around to seeing it. Saw it, didn't like it. Anyway, although I didn't really necessarily like Stalker, it reminded me a lot of a movie that I saw over the quarantine, made back in 2018 by a man of the name, who's the director that did Ex Machina, Sam? Same director, Alex Garland, who made a movie called Annihilation, and that's my recommendation for this week.
Ooh.
Really, really interesting. I mean, it obviously pulls so much inspiration from Stalker. I would not be surprised if it's Alex Garland, one of his favorite movies, because it's so similar. But really, really interesting concept. A meteor hits Earth and it essentially changes that environment, that the meteor and the surrounding area of the meteor. Basically, no laws of physics applies. So, really pretty interesting. I guess check out, if you like Annihilation, I'll say watch that one first. Check out Stalker as well. It's a little less approachable than Annihilation, but yeah.
Sure.
So.
Awesome. I'll check those out.
So, Sam.
So with that.
Until next time, Sam, where can I find you on the Letterboxd?
You can find me on letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. And where can I find you, Will?
You can find me on Letterboxd at willspalding. And you can find us in long-term care facilities where we're breaking out grandmas. You can also at anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds and Those Film Nerds on all podcast platforms and YouTube, and Those Film Nerds on Instagram and thosefilmnerds@gmail.com. You can email any questions, thoughts, movie-related topics into the show, and we'll get back to you. So there we go. And Sam, until next time.
Keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Ever thought about making a podcast? Well, Anchor is the easiest and simplest way to do so. Let me explain. For starters, it's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, laptop, or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and much, much more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast in one place. So give it a try.